My name is Esthir Lemi and I'm an artist. Basically, I started as a painter. I was 5 years old and I knew that I'm a painter. And I'm here to talk about the procedure of starting as a painter and mixing technology in my work. And I thought about talking basically about the inspiration, the steps that I followed and the people from whom I get inspired. And that's not, I start with the one piece of art that is here in this wonderful place. And no. Help. I'm a Mac person, sorry. It's oh, wonderful, okay. So I work with haptics, and this is a picture of my recent project. I'm in Denmark. I started working a few months ago at the Department of Mediology at Aalborg University in Copenhagen. Haptics is a new technology, and haptic is a Greek word, and it's actually a research in the sense of touch, and we research the way the ways that we can have feedback from objects. This is actually two pages of a book. Where you can have sound at this moment. And here is about haptics. And the project that I thought that it's good to show as an example is of three students at the University of Michigan from Taipei, where I supervised. They were IT students. And the idea was to use an immersive environment, using a famous painting for people that are not able to see this painting and have read the history of art, but they're not able to see. And now let's see if I'm able to do that. What kind of a painter are you if you cannot create a window? Monet's painting functions in this project as such a window. The carpet of grass leads to the reproduced image of poppy field in a hollow, hanging on the wall, serving to extend the landscape of Giverny into the physical space.
4 different notions were played in order to translate an impressionist painting into a 4-dimensional representation. The first being the effect of viewing distance. A comfortable distance between the painting and the viewer allows one to see the whole picture. In our installation, as the audience comes closer to the painting, the whisper of the painting shifts from comfortable environmental sound towards noisy, primitive sound frequency.
Many impressionists like Monet like to paint the scene multiple times to capture the shadow and light at different moments. This series of paintings therefore incorporate a time dimension. In the installation, the atmosphere of the sun will also shift gradually from morning to evening to reflect the time dimension.
Impressionist painters also like to paint ordinary subject matter in the wild. A butterfly might dance through a garden the painter was depicting unexpectedly. To reflect this aspect in our installation, an audience can raise his hands to feel what's happening in the sky, or lower his body to hear what's happening on the ground.
I like the kind of concept of like you're kind of walking around in the foreground of the painting.
So definitely it's very, open in space, and then you can kind of have a spring kind of feel.
I felt the sound was associated with the kind of like the very big plain area.
So I I studied at the School of Fine Arts in Athens, and I was pretty sure that I'm a painter and that will be my career. And I wanted to go to Berlin, so I got a scholarship and went there without knowing what a master's means. I belong to the MTV generation anyway, and that was pretty new in the millennium. So I went there, and there is at the University of Arts in Berlin. I started at that time that Institute for Kunst im Kontext, and it was pretty weird for artists that we went there, and they told us that they don't care about the artistic world. They only wanted us to teach us how to work in team, and in order to do something for the society. And it was pretty hard for me in the beginning to get immersed into that. But actually, that is where I have learned what it means, the community-based art. And one of the great inspirations, and I consider that he is my mentor, is Peter Schumann, who is pretty famous for his bread and puppet theater that started in the 70s. I don't think that we have the time to show you the video, but he's really an inspiration. And actually, he's critical in using technology. And I think that is very important for people that work with technology to follow that path on being critical. And then I came back to Athens and worked as an editor for films for the Olympics here. And I started playing piano at 5, and I kept on studying music. So I took my BA diploma in composition at the same time, and that changed entirely the way of thinking, because I used the compositional thinking that is actually similar to the visual way of thinking. And I enjoyed so much this combination that I kept working as a composer. And then I did a PhD in aesthetics, and that was in musicology here in Athens, and I have written this book. And during this process, I get to know the work of Vannevar Bush, that was an engineer in the 20s, and he wrote this wonderful book, As We May Think, and actually he inspired the digital, the after 50s, the after 60s era. We keep on reading his book and discovering new things. And the wonderful thing in the way he worked with his team was that he had a group of engineers, and he used to work with somebody that had no idea of engineering. And the other person was able to see another kind of reality in the way phenomenology works. And the idea of engineers working with artists actually have that kind of success that is not possible otherwise. Artists, even if they don't have an idea of the functionality of a process, they have a different approach of failure that is wonderful, because they create things that even if they fail, they're beautiful in a way. And this is another project that I love. It's actually theremin. That was an idea of an instrument of the beginning of the past century, and people still working on that, even if we have so many wonderful instruments that function in a more complicated way. And there are schools that work in a curriculum that is quite bizarre. They start scheduling an insect and researching the way an insect moves and how they create sound. And then they recreate that in a digital theremin. And so the kids have this transdisciplinary class where they can learn so many things at the same time. And here's the Creative Media and Behavioral Health Center. I've worked with them, and I'm still collaborating with them. And I think they're doing a wonderful job in this transdisciplinary domain of health, accessibility, engineers, and artists. And here is one of my favorite works. And
my name is Mariantina Gotzis, and I'm a research assistant professor at the University of Southern California at the School of Cinematic Arts. The piece is Skyfair. This is a mixed reality game. It's a shoulder rehabilitation game for people who are aging with disability. The concept behind the piece is to develop an easy and engaging way to exercise the shoulders for people who have pain, for prevention and for also treatment. Generally speaking, these physical therapy exercises are very boring and people don't do them well, don't do them for a long time. And for this particular group of people that we're working with, they need to be doing them 3 times a week for as long as possible, you know, and they're very boring. And this actually makes it very fun and people actually want to do it. SIGGRAPH is the premier computer graphics conference, and for us it's a really big honor to actually be accepted in the community. It's important to expose the community to other applications of computer graphics and technology into health applications. And finally, these things are actually now affordable enough that we can actually do it in the home, so that's really good.
And then since I have read the book, and I have about orange economy, and I have my own interpretation that it's from the point of view of an artist. And the closest, I have found 3 works that I suppose, if the way I have read that are closer to what we're discussing about here, and my inspiration of doing art, and that has doing art that belongs in a way to the future, to this century, the contemporary thing of working together with artists and engineers. Ugh. Oh, let's leave it if it's like that. Escape. Escape.
So this is Olaf.
Nope. Yep. So here's Meki. I have used this application that is wonderful, and this application gives an opportunity to everyone to become an artist. There are 2 MIT engineers that created this wonderful application. Okay, wonderful. Okay. We have found a solution. We're doing like that. Well, yeah, here it is. And I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite works of art, contemporary, that is quite orange. And I truly believe that we live in a wonderful world and that wonderful people are everywhere and are able to create things that can help the community and being beautiful at the same time. The only thing that we have to do is to find them. And that is orange enough. Olafilia's room, Tate Gallery. Thank you very much.